Hey everyone, how's it going? My name's Balar, or Cal, depending on, your opinions and what you want to call me. I don't really care. But welcome back to the channel, and welcome to my initial thoughts on Watch Dogs Legion. Now this video isn't scripted. I'm very much going off of just my legitimate initial thoughts. I've only played about 3 hours of the game. I played an hour and a half last night at the 12 PM midnight launch, and I played another hour and a half this morning before. Obviously this video's gone out. I do only have footage of my initial hour and a half, so some things I'm going to talk about I probably won't have footage of, so I do apologize for that. Now, Legion was something I was kind of skeptical about. Watch Dogs is a very up and down series for a series of games that has 2 prior to this. Watch Dogs 1 has its ups and downs, as does Watch Dogs 2. So Legion was very concerning. It seemed more, at least in the marketing, this seemed more like a sequel to Watch Dogs 2 than a continuation of Watch Dogs 1's world, which is kind of a big discrepancy I have with Watch Dogs 1 and 2 in that they don't feel like they're part of the same world. Watch Dogs 1 is very dark, and it deals with these serious kind of concepts, whereas Watch Dogs 2 is very open and very lighthearted to a point where it's kind of almost annoying. They very much go for 2 separate aspects and try to cover 2 separate variables of hacker and hacker culture. And Watch Dogs 1's take on it is very much, it's very more appealing, it's more interesting than just wacky, fucking teens, 20-year-olds being annoyed and making people's lives difficult, which is, parts of what Watch Dogs 2 is. There is that mission where you go after someone who is also a sex offender, I guess. I don't know, in the DLC, where he makes dead sex porn. And that's the main justification behind it. It's like he's mocking you by making porn of dead sex, so we're going to assault him. But also he ruins sex workers' lives somehow. I don't know. I think I might have missed something in that mission, but I didn't fully understand what that guy did wrong. There's also the one where you steal the remote control car. Although that was because they were going to kill people with it. So that one made sense. But yeah, the sex one, I didn't fully get my head around. That's just me personally. But Watch Dogs Legion definitely feels more like a sequel to Watch Dogs 1. I mean, the opening moments of this game feature a terrorist attack, which is then blamed on DedSec. The character you're playing as at that point, Dalton Wolf, is killed, and that's where the game kind of takes off. DedSec is attacked at the same time. They're brought down to just Sabine, who is kind of the Sitara character, at least from what I've got so far in this game. She's the Sitara character, and Bagley, the AI we've all known about for a while, seems to be taking up the place of like Wrench, T-Bone, and Josh. Just to compare this game to Watch Dogs 2, in the case of the people, or the person who is kind of telling you exactly what you need to do and where you need to do it, whereas Sitara in Watch Dogs 2 was much more of a, hey, this is who you need to talk to, kind of person and character. I will admit, breaking this down into just 2 characters instead of having 4, like it did in Watch Dogs 2, 5 technically if you count Horatio, even though he was barely in that game, and it just being kind of Aiden, T-Bone, and occasionally Bad Boy. I do like the balance of having 2 people who definitively tell you what to do, instead of having Aiden flip-flop between needing Bad Boy's help, or Clara's help, and needing T-Bone's help, as well as in comparison to Marcus, just kind of having a bunch of characters help him for no real reason when he could probably do it on his own, considering he's the only person in that game who actually does anything until the final act, which is, I probably should have said spoilers for Watch Dogs 2. I'll fucking put a thing up as I intro this video, I guess. Again, not scripted. The gameplay, I do think, is 50-50 in my opinion. The driving is something I'm really kind of surprised about. The driving in this game is a lot better, which is saying a lot considering the gaming in Watch Dogs 2 was pretty good. It was some pretty good gaming. But the driving in Watch Dogs 2 was already really good, and it was miles better than Watch Dogs 1, which even then, Watch Dogs 1's driving mechanics weren't that bad. They were decent. They could have had a lot of work put into it, but it wasn't terrible by any means. But the driving in this, in Watch Dogs Legion, feels a little bit more arcadey. There's a little more, the cars feel like they have a little less weight than they did in Watch Dogs 2, at least some of them. But aside from that, it's a lot of fun. I don't like the camera. For the driving, the camera is very rigid and focused. Basically, the way they do it is something you can change for when you're just in the open world as well, playing as your character. But the driving in this game, the camera basically always points forward. It always points the way your car's pointing. So if you're driving and you turn left, the camera automatically turns with you. So you, at least in my, playing, I found myself fighting with the camera a lot because I go to turn the camera as I turn because I am very camera playable in games like this. I'm kind of doing multiple things at once. Another thing I'm not sure how I feel about yet is the hacking. The hacking is something we've known about and been told it is very much stripped back. It's not as in-depth at all as it was in Watch Dogs 2, which is kind of upsetting. The hacking is kind of what makes Watch Dogs different to all the other, open world shoot 'em up games, in the veins of GTA and stuff like that. It is very weird, to say the least, that it's just a lot more limited. I haven't played as a hacker archetype yet. They might feel a lot more like Marcus did in Watch Dogs 2, or even Aiden did in Watch Dogs 1. Even then, it's, I think, a lot less useful, and there's a lot less to do when it comes to hacking in this game. Which, if you're a fan of the hacking stuff, that's gonna suck. The gunplay feels fine. It is a bit weird how stuff like shock guns, taser guns, they're not instant knockouts anymore because of health bars. You do have to kind of take a couple shots, which is a bit off. I would have preferred that should you go the stealth route, you can just knock people out in one shot and not have to fire 3 or 4 and have them alert everyone. But the archetype system and the players anyone system mainly, the little bit I've had of it so far, like I said, I've only played about 2.5-3 hours, is really fun actually. It's a lot better than I expected it to be, mainly because it's Ubisoft and I expect that stuff to be shit. But it's executed well enough that the characters I've played as so far, at least, which is only like 3 or 4, but they all feel different. They all sound different, which is nice. The main character I've been playing as, the one I got at the beginning of the game, his name's Walter Lynch, I believe. He's got a very deep Irish accent, and the second character I unlocked, one you have to unlock through the story, which is a construction worker. It's just a general one. There's not going to be a set the same one. But his sounds completely different. The characters have certain things that are just attached to them. For example, certain characters have specific vehicles tied to them that you can call at any point, which does replace the cars on demand system. That's completely gone, which I don't like either. There's a lot of customization taken away, and a lot of features taken away just to service the players anyone system. And although I do like the system, I don't like that it's done so much. There's so much stuff in this game, or so much stuff not in this game, sorry, that was in Watch Dogs 1 and 2 that kind of should be a staple of it. Stuff like cars on demand and buying cards. Although Watch Dogs, because you couldn't store cars, it never really made a whole lot of sense to purchase vehicles, because you could just steal a better one than the ones you could afford at any point in the game, really. But even then, just the kind of aspect of having cars you owned and having to be able to choose what you wanted at a certain time. In Watch Dogs 2, sometimes I'd drive around in the DLC Cyrex performance car, and sometimes I'd be just wanting to have a mess around, and I'd get the noodle car. The little smart car looking thing. So it's stuff like that is gone. You do have to go out of your way to find certain cars that you want, that you'd like to drive around and kind of keep near you, which again is a shame. A lot of stuff has been pulled back, but I don't think that's going to hamper the game at all. It's a lot darker. It feels a lot more like a sequel to Watch Dogs 1, but the way DedSec is being handled, although in that darker form, in that darker tone, it doesn't feel like it's ignoring Watch Dogs 2, and we know it's not because of the Bloodlines DLC. When that comes out, because Wrench is in it. It's Aiden and Wrench, which I will say, if you're going to planning on pick this up, wait until after the Bloodlines DLC comes out. At least so far, the story is interesting. However, nothing has shouted out to me that it's good enough to warrant buying at this point. I do feel that that is just a symptom of the players anyone system. I do feel like playing as a set character like Wrench or even Aiden, I think it's going to be extremely well suited to this game, and I think he's going to be the best experience to playing this. So if you're iffy about picking it up, or you want to pick it up but you're going to pick it up later, wait to get the Bloodlines DLC if you can. With that being said, this is all I have for this video. Like I said, it was just my initial thoughts on Watch Dogs Legion. I will be having a much more in-depth video when I beat the game, kind of talking about my final thoughts on it. I'll probably have another video coming up when the online... That's another thing, actually. It hasn't launched with online. Online launches in December, so I'll have another video maybe covering the launch of the online in December. Don't know when in December, they've just said December 2020. But yeah, that all being said, this has been my initial thoughts on Watch Dogs Legion. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, all that nice stuff. There will be more Watch Dogs content coming on this channel soon, focusing on Legion specifically. I might do some stuff with, Watch Dogs 1 and 2. I do need to get Watch Dogs 1 again, I don't have it anymore. I do have 2 though, so we might see some of that. I might see a stream in a week or 2, maybe, of Legion, just doing some side stuff. But yeah, again, I've been Balar or Cal. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram, twitter.com/BalarHD. I changed my Twitter at. My Instagram is the same, it is CXS Styles. Follow me over there, interact with me a bit more. My Twitter's the best place to contact me if you want to. I use it the most. All that being said, finally, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.